This one move will dramatically increase your distance and control, and 90% of amateurs completely miss out this move without even knowing it. And that move is keeping your left side of your hip down and turning around in the downswing. So that massively helps with shifting pressure and rotation at the same time. So you don't have to go and do a weight shift and then rotate. They both happen at the same time doing this move. And two, it keeps you continually rotating through the shot, so you won't have that stall out that we see so amateurs do going through the golf ball. And three, it massively helps with distance because you put pressure into the ground doing this move and then you spike it back out the ground going through impact, which is one of the big reasons we see so many top tour players hit the ball so far without looking like they're really putting any effort into it. And this isn't something that is only available to tour pros because of their athleticism. Absolutely every golfer out there can do this, and I'm going to show you a really good drill at the end of this video on exactly how to get it into your swing. So let's get into exactly how to do this and why you should do it too. And why is because of this. That's an 8-iron. So how far that ball went for an 8-iron, and also how straight did that ball go? That happens when you do this movement. So that's keeping that left side down and turning around. So let's start in the start of the downswing. So, okay, essentially what this is keeping the tilt you have, especially the tilt of the pelvis, throughout that downswing. And here's a representation of what my hips are doing with this long stick here. So you can see that left side of the pelvis. So, okay, top of the backswing into the downswing. Stick's gonna be pointing slightly down towards the ground. That's your tilt. You've got tilt, left side's lower. Golf's a rotational sport, the ball's on the ground, we need to be tilted. So when I start that downswing, I immediately want to keep my tilt, so get that pressure going down to left side, and that's the stick pointing more towards the ground. But I immediately at the same time want to have that left side of the pelvis disappear. So you can see how the stick is disappearing, it's pointed more towards the ground and disappearing. So that's that simultaneous pressure shift and rotational movement. A lot of players try to separate the two. They try to weight shift, get that pelvis sliding away, and then try to rotate from there. But you notice when you do that weight shift there, pelvis shift, pelvis bump, you can see I've spine tilted away. I've lost my pelvic tilt. Now I can't rotate and turn. I'm just gonna flip and stall out. That's why it's so important. You can do it all in one move. So that alone, getting that down and around movement in transition with that pelvis, so left side going back and down, creates really, really good ball striking because it ensures your upper body is on top of your lower body as you're going down into downswing. That's going to control that low point better. So awesome, really nice strikes, and you can see there, as you saw, another really good shot. So it's going to help with that, but absolutely that sequencing in the downswing that so many amateurs struggle with. Because you're having that pelvis go back at the same time as it's going down, so left side going down and going back, you are separating that lower body. So that's where you're getting the ideal sequencing. We want lower body, mid-torso to turn first, and then once that happens, the upper body is going to stay more passive, and the arm's going to be passive too, which is going to help with good shallowing, good start off with the downswing, good club path control, just via that one move. So the second phase of the downswing here, so we've started it nicely. Now that continuation of the downswing, so this is where we get to shaft parallel to the ground. We want that stick just to continue to move behind, but continue to point down. That's going to keep your rotation very constant and free flowing during the shot. So you're essentially keeping that rate of rotation up, which is keeping all the good stuff in your swing. If you've shallowed the shaft, got a square face, got the club on a good path, you've got to maintain that extremely well. So you've massively increased your chance of tightening your dispersion. This is why it's so good for the control aspect. Keeps you rotating because you're staying in your tilt. So many golfers who stall out their rotation mid-downswing will start to raise that pelvis up in that mid-downswing. So that's where they will stall out. You can't lose your tilt if you want to continue to rotate. You have to keep your tilt so you can rotate. So it's really good for that really good controlled accuracy, but of course keeps the distance going because you're continuing to rotate, you're not dumping any speed. So the third phase of the downswing, which is going through the golf ball from shaft parallel to the ground to shaft parallel post impact, this is the part that generates all that power. So because we have kept that left side down for really 3/4 of the downswing, we're essentially loading into that left leg. We're having this pressure moving down in this direction, so almost like a squat mini squat into that left side. And if you've lowered into the ground, that pressure lowering down a little bit, you are really recruiting and powering up that force. So then, just like someone who's going to go down and jump, your little jump going through the golf ball is left side extension, which raises up your tilt. That's the time we want that tilt to raise. But that's when the power comes out the ground. So that's where you get that last little bit of speed that is applied at the right time. So from shaft parallel, that's where we want that left leg to straighten, which left side extension, that puts you in a little bit of right side bend as you do that. That gets that power coming out the ground. And that's where you get this really good distance start to appear. That was an amazing strike. Look at that. See, it's a really, really good one to get that distance, and it's not gone far offline at all. Very, very reasonable dispersion there. So incredibly, incredibly important for being able to have that consistent, powerful golf swing that you see the tour players or real top amateur golfers, elite amateur golfers do. Really important. Let's get to the drill to get into your swing. So the drill is the exact thing that I've been showing you, demonstrating of that pelvic tilt the entire video. So it's where you grab an alignment stick and you put the alignment stick in your belt loops to where a tiny bit's coming out on the right, a lot of it's coming out on the left, because we can see what the pelvis is doing and it's going to give us an external focus. It's far easier to be able to control body movement via focusing externally rather than focusing on a body part. So what we want to do, like we've been saying the whole time, left side goes down and around immediately. So that's the stick going down. I want it pointing just a little bit more down and then disappearing at the exact same time. So down and around. So really getting that down and around movement, disappearing it around you. Boom. So that felt real whippy, real nice, as you can see from there. And I wasn't even really trying to go at it. Probably looked like it a little bit, but that's just the powerful nature. Remember, you're loading into that left side as you're doing this, getting that rotational torque into a good spot. And then you're vertically having that nice extension going through the golf ball, spiking that force out the ground again. So you're balancing those three forces, the lateral, the vertical, and the rotational really, really well, just by doing one drill. The amount of times I see in lessons players really struggling with either one of those, and you'll see that this drill would actually be a great drill to do for those students. It's probably one of the most commonly used drill I have with my students over on Skillist. So let's have another go here, down and around. Did it so much it flew out my belt loop. So that's the force you can get into that movement. So make sure you got it a little bit more in than I just did. But that's a good sign if you do that, that you have really put that force through it. But make sure, just like any drill, guys, learn to do it slow first. So like you're seeing there with the stick flying out, I wouldn't want to see that for you for the first good couple practice sessions, because I want you to do it really slow and more of a half swing more than anything. So right here, I'm trying to go around 50, maybe 60% speed. Nice, slow and controlled, getting it going down and around and then turning through, and you're still going to be able to really get some good striking. Some golfers really get surprised, even at that slow feeling, they're doing it at the start of doing the drill, they're hitting the ball just as far as they normally do. And then when they crank it up, then they get there. So again, if you're a player who's struggling with distance and accuracy, which is pretty much every golfer out there, this is the drill to go and do, and you're going to benefit massively. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.